I love that we get a chance to hear from young people this morning. A quick story about young people. I have a few young people in my life. I have a 6-year-old named Ava. We were on a road trip last week back from Arizona. Has anybody made the drive from Phoenix on the 10 back to LA? There's a lot of stuff and a lot of nothing. Anyway, a lot of looking out the window, thankfully. And of course, as one does on a road trip, you start thinking, you start questioning. And so Ava poses a question. Why do I go to school and you don't? I was wildly unprepared, so I started talking about, well, I went to school as a kid, and I did this, and that prepared me for work, and blah, 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 blah. And she said, well, that's not fair. And so I started thinking, as adults, we have more control over when we learn, what we learn, why we learn, the formats in which we learn. But that isn't the same for most of our students. You know, students are in fixed curricula, fixed places oftentimes, and so they're looking for different ways forward, different options. And so we see some of the most important innovations right now coming from our students, so I'm so excited to have this group here to talk about some of the ways that they're navigating this moment. My name is Larry Corio. I'm a director on the Learning Transformation Studios teams at ASU. This is my colleague, Julie Evans, CEO of Project Tomorrow. I'll let her introduce herself, but I've been working with Julie for many years, and I've been thrilled about the work that she's doing to provide research and insights and data to help inform better decision-making for the field. And I'm on Project Tomorrow's board. We are dear friends. I'm thrilled about her moderating this conversation with the students this morning, and I'm going to give it over to her so that we have as much time as possible to hear directly from the voices. You know, we come to ASU GSV to hear from experts, and this session this morning is no different. So let's listen with that same level of attentiveness, enthusiasm, because there are dreams and needs captured in these voices that we should be integrating into our work.
Thank you so much, Larry. Folks, it's wonderful to be here with all of you today. My deepest appreciation to the ASU team for helping to facilitate this panel today, which I believe is the first panel of all students to speak here at this conference. And so my thanks also to all of you for appreciating this point of view and coming to listen to our students today. As Larry said, my name is Julie Evans. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Project Tomorrow. Project Tomorrow is a national education nonprofit group. We're particularly focused in on understanding the voices of students as well as parents and families, classroom teachers, school building leaders, district administrators, and to incorporate those unique perspectives into improving decision-making in our K-12 schools. It is my absolute pleasure to have this opportunity to learn alongside all of you from these students today. So our conversation today is about the role of AI in students' lives. I'm going to be chatting with these students about how they're currently using AI in school, as well as outside of school on their own self-directed learning, and then also talk about their aspirations. So as Larry accurately said, let's listen actively to the point of view of these students. So students, we're going to start off. I'm going to have you each introduce yourself, tell us your name, your grade, and the name of the school that you're currently attending.
Hi everyone, my name's Ahan. I'm a freshman at El Toro High School.
Hello, I'm Ada Cole, and I am a freshman at Calm World School.
My name's Joe. I go to Point Loma High School.
And your grade, Joe?
Freshman.
Hello, my name is Reese. I go to school in Orange County, and I'm a freshman.
Ah, did you already get the theme here? What a pleasure to have all freshmen in high school. Let's think about this for a moment. 4 years from now, when they graduate, what will this world look like? How will AI have transformed not only teaching and learning, but the workforce and plans for their future? So I think we're at a unique moment in time to hear from these students about their experiences. All right, students, my second question is, what's your favorite class in school?
I'll start. My favorite class is probably my AP. It's a first period. It's AP Computer Science Principles. Ever since I was like maybe 10, 11, I've always had an interest in coding, and it's a pretty nice class. The teacher explains the stuff well. It's interactive, and as someone who's interested in coding, I just always love going to that class first thing in the morning.
My favorite class is Algebra 2 because I enjoy analyzing like how certain it is and figuring out the exact formulas to use to find the exact solution.
My favorite class is probably physics because my teacher is really good. So yeah.
That makes a difference, Joe. It really does.
My favorite class is my Japanese class because I love learning about like the culture, and I have a lot of friends in that class.
Wonderful. Thank you, students. All right, let's get into our discussion today. Now, students, what I'd like to have you share with us is a couple different things. Pick your adventure here. How are you currently using AI, either in school or in your own self-directed learning outside of school? Who would like to share?
I'll just start again. In school, I kind of use it mostly for math, but also some of my other subjects. I just ask it, can you give me a deep dive of this specific topic? And for math, I put in my lecture notes and I ask it to give me a study guide and some practice problems. I feel like ChatGPT and Gemini are really good at practice tests, and it's just a great way to use it in school. Use it outside of school as well?
Outside of school as well. Yeah.
So I actually love football or soccer. I've loved it since maybe I was 11 years old, and I always since I don't really have many people around me to talk about it with, I just talk about it with ChatGPT with the voice. And we just talk about, the upcoming FIFA World Cup, upcoming Champions League final. It's fun.
Out in school, I typically use AI as a means of sort of putting my ideas in sort of like more of a concentrated focus of I have these ideas, how can I utilize them for papers, and how can I figure out to articulate my ideas properly. And outside of school, I typically use it for more fun stuff, like collecting a list of movies to figure out what would be the ideal list for a Christmas.
Thank you, Ada.
I use it because when I don't know how to do something or an equation that I need for my physics, it kind of explains it more thoroughly if the teacher didn't really explain it as well, or yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
In school, I use AI for if I read a book and I read a chapter, I'll use ChatGPT to summarize the chapter. So I'll be like, oh, that's I remember reading that. And then outside of school, I'll generate pictures, different styles of pictures of my dog or something.
Love that. So one of our main projects at Project Tomorrow is, as I mentioned, collecting this research. We've been collecting research through our Speak Up Research project about students' perspectives on AI now for 2.5 years. Really interesting. Some of our latest results indicate exactly what these students told us, that students are saying that they are using AI to generate ideas, maybe for writing prompts or things that are valuable to them. They're checking their work. They're exploring different things that are of interest to them, and also asking questions when they need some clarification. So we're seeing the same sort of thing followed here with our students. So I've got an interesting question for you, students. How did you learn how to use AI?
I guess I'll start. So I honestly use how to use AI from my dad. He is very good at programming and that type of stuff, and he helped me learn how to properly prompt ChatGPT and those types of programs to figure out what keywords it'll register and how I can articulate that to best serve my purpose.
Thanks, Ada.
I think I learned from my uncle a while ago, and he kind of just showed me. He was like, "Yo, check this out. You can." Yeah. So that's how I figured it out. That's how I knew about it.
I learned how to use it from my mom. She would show me this AI app called Claude, and she'd be like, "Oh, it can create stories, or it can help you on your homework, or it can help you for other stuff."
I guess I'll go last this time. So I kind of learned how to use AI ethically, and just learned how to use it kind of just by seeing that, oh yeah, this prompt, it doesn't really understand it. So I kind of just made mistakes and learned from that. And I've also been in this AI network called Fancy, and through that, I've just kind of learned to navigate it and learned how to use it ethically, and even make presentations on how to use it ethically.
Thank you, students. Interesting trend here, folks. We're seeing the same thing in our research. 55% of middle school and high school students say that they're learning about how to use AI on their own, as Ahan told us, or through family members that are helping. Less than half of the students are saying they're learning it in school. So in our conversations about thinking about AI as an agent of transformation in education, we're not there, except, of course, for some interesting campfires of innovation. So that's why I asked that question for the students. Here's my next question for you folks. Thinking about the experiences that you've had, and it sounds like you're all using AI in many different ways. That's why I asked both for in school as well as out of school. What do you think are some potential good uses of AI to support academic work, to support school work? What are some good best cases or best examples? Go ahead,
I'll
Reese.
go first. I actually have a friend who I sit with at lunch who she doesn't fully speak English. And so I think that AI can be used to help kids who don't speak the language that the school teaches in. It can help them like translate their homework or translate different learning things that they've learned in class, but it can also help translate also help them like make connections with kids and connections with teachers. And so like overall it can help them like understand and feel like they're included in the school without them fully knowing like the language.
So sort of eliminating language as a barrier. Is that what your friend is doing, Reese?
I don't fully know, but I think, well, she uses like Google Translate to help translate with like my friends that we sit with, and I can communicate with her through like AI translating apps.
Oh, okay, great.
I guess kind of building off of that, I see like, I'm trying to use the best words here, but I'm just going to say dummy it down. Whenever like I asked it to explain this concept to me, I'm like, what just happened? So I just kind of ask it to give it or explain it in more simpler terms, and I see it does that like incredibly, like a lot faster than we can. Like if you don't understand a topic, it can just like try and explain it in simpler words, like in like 2 seconds, it just generates text, and you can always ask it to explain it this way and kind of tailor it to the way you learn.
So Han, that's an interesting point. Has it ever been a situation where maybe not for you, but maybe for some of your classmates, where something was taught in school that you didn't understand, and then maybe AI could help explain that?
Yeah, I'm sure. Like it's happened to me where I think it was something about circles and tangents, and I was like, no. And then so I went home and I put in the lecture note, and I'm like, can you explain this more simply? And then I got it. So I mean, it's just a great way to just learn. Yeah, it's just a great tool.
Anybody else?
I would say that I definitely agree of like translating into simpler terms can be helpful. I've done it myself for like my chemistry homework, and like sort of like translating like all the acid names and that type of stuff. I'm like, okay, what does this break down to in more simpler terms, and how can I see this? And I'll use my periodic table, and I'm like, okay, what does this mean on the periodic table, and reference in just sort of like figure it out in more simple terms. I also think brainstorming is another good way of just sort of like, I have these ideas, how can I make this into more of a streamlined train of thought?
Okay, thank you, Ada.
Yeah, I just I kind of use it to like, again, if I don't understand it that well, it kind of dumbs it down for me, you know, so I can.
I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that.
No,
Dumbing it down.
Well, yeah, so it explains it better.
Yeah.
than-
Let me ask a different question, folks. What are your teachers saying to you about AI?
Well, with my teachers, like most of them, like don't want us to use it, you know, because they know that we probably could, and like I've done it before. So, well, not in a way that I'm cheating my grade, but I'm saying like if like for example like they were like I'm writing an essay in English, you know, and my teacher's like, okay, well, and it's funny, they actually use AI to catch the AI that we use. So you gotta like, yeah. Anyway,
Like, did you write this?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. So what was your question again then?
Perfectly fine, Joe. I was interested in what your teachers are saying about AI. What are they telling you in class about AI?
Mostly just don't use it to cheat, but use it to help, I guess. There's like a fine line of cheating.
Okay. Other perspectives?
I would say for my teachers, at least in my English classes, I've seen like they're open to using our school's AI Conmingo, sort of like talking through it like as your ideas. Like, okay, I have this idea, and it's like, okay, and it sort of questions you to sort of like dig deeper into like the main core root of your idea and how to sort of streamline it.
Okay, thanks, Ada.
My teachers don't really talk about AI very much. I would say my science teacher, he'll sometimes be like, oh, if you're in track, this is what we're doing today, and he'll like kind of show it on AI. Or like different things he'll search up. But with like my English teacher, she'll be like, a lot of them talk about how they use AI to like detect if you're using AI. So they'll like tell kids don't use AI when writing, but they'll also use AI to make sure that you're not using AI.
So I'm kind of going off of what Reese just said. Not many of my teachers have addressed the fact, or even like have acknowledged that we're using AI. I'm sure they do acknowledge it, but they don't like talk about it in class. Like, oh yeah, well, like some of the assignments they say don't use it, but they don't say like, oh, you can use it this way to help you outline. They just don't really explain that. But like I feel like I sometimes talk to my bio teacher one-on-one, and he's like, and like I talk to him about like AI and like how to use it ethically, and he knows about it. I'm not sure. I'm not a teacher, so I wouldn't know why they wouldn't say it in class, but yeah, they just don't address it.
Okay, thank you, students. There's been a lot written about concerns around using AI. Do you students have any concerns about using AI? Anything that you think we should be aware of? Reese, you're nodding at me.
I've actually seen kids cheat with AI in my class on tests and like quizzes that they use, and I would say that's pretty concerning because it's kind of taking away kids' like ability to actually understand like our homework and like the subject that we're talking about in. But a lot of kids will use AI on their homework to do it for them because my teachers don't actually check homework. They just kind of say, oh, if you complete it, then like you get full credit, and they don't show us how to correct our homework. So a lot of kids will use AI to like do their homework for them because they know, oh, teachers won't check it.
I guess I'll go next. So kind of building off of what you just said, I feel like, if you use it too much, you're going to just start to rely on it. And I feel like that's a big problem, kind of what I was talking about earlier, like using it ethically. Don't use it for like everything to like generate essays or do your homework for you, because at the end, you're supposed to learn that knowledge. I mean, ChatGPT or all these LLMs already know that knowledge because they get it from when they were trained or from Google. But like we need to learn this information. Like it doing it for us is not going to help us in the long run.
I would say a concern with using AI is that less of yourself, but it's more like your peers will cheat, and then sort of results in like a atmosphere of students like using it unethically and using it to like sort of simplify information to a point where they don't actually understand the material properly, and it's more it's more basic understanding rather than a nuanced understanding of the topic, which could lead to gaps in learning.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically it.
Thanks, Jeff. We're definitely seeing in our research the number one concern that comes up from classroom teachers is cheating. That is the number one concern that they're talking about. Of course, that could be addressed in different ways. Students, do you feel that whether it's a test or homework or a quiz, do you think that the way your teachers are using those type of tools right now accurately portrays what you know? Do you think
Are you talking about like the AI they're using to catch it, or?
No, just regular tests or quizzes in school. Do you think they do a good job of representing to your teacher what you know about that content or that subject area?
Like explaining. Wait, are you talking about how they're talking about
Just
you
any
using
tests,
AI?
just any tests or quiz.
Oh.
Do you think they represent what you know?
Like what we learn in school, you mean?
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, I mean, I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of confused.
I would say that I think tests and quiz, they do like show what you know, but at the same time, like teachers won't be able to know like if it's fully your work that you've done.
Yeah.
So again, with kids who like use AI to cheat on their tests, it's allowing them to show their teacher, oh, I understand what I'm knowing and learning, but they don't actually truly know it. So it's kind of letting them advance in what they want to without them actually understanding what they're doing.
Right.
I'm not too sure if this was your question, but I see a lot of the times, especially in math, because there's obviously different formulas to find out like the area or other different math formulas that you may learn in class, but there's other types of formulas and other ways to figure it out online, like different ways to find out the volume or surface area of a cube, and maybe your teacher learned it a different way. I actually have had that happen to me where I wasn't there for the lesson and I forgot to look at the lecture notes, so I just asked ChatGPT and I put it on there, and then it was wrong because that's not the formula that we learned in class. So it definitely happens, and it mostly does, but sometimes there's always that problem.
I think overall, like the sort of tests and stuff my school personally influence, I would say that it does accurately represent our learning. And I think a tool that at least my school has implemented to sort of like reduce the risk of students not knowing the material is that for a math test, we have to record ourselves taking it and explain our full thought process and reasoning behind why we chose the answer, and like show our work on paper. Like, here's the work I wrote down for why we did this. So I think that could be a potential like tool to reduce the likelihood of cheating with AI.
Well, yeah, now it makes sense. Like, I feel like if you do use AI on one of those, and this actually happened in my English class, this kid used AI on like a writing or something, and it used like a big complicated word, and then my teacher was like, oh wait, what does that word mean? And he was like, and he like had no idea what it meant. So I mean, I can see how like it helps you, but it on those type of things you don't actually learn from it,
That's right. It just doesn't. Thank you, students. Going back to the concerns part of this, do you have any concerns about using AI outside of school? So for your own personal interest, is there anything that worries you about AI being used by students in general?
Yeah, I would say in general, I think it depends on what topic you're doing. Like, if it's something that you want to get a really in-depth understanding of it, like if you want to learn about like forests or something in a tropical place and you want to go in depth on that, it could have the potential to spread inaccurate information from the source that it gathers. So that could be a risk, like you're choosing to engage in a potential misinformation.
Not only misinformation, but I guess there's sometimes a privacy risk based on what you're telling or what you're talking about it with. I mean, like for me, I don't really care if it knows my favorite team or whatever, but like I feel like sometimes other people may talk about something that there's obviously a privacy risk. So inaccurate information and a privacy risk.
I would say I would be scared if kids used it in a way to kind of harm or like upset another student or a friend or someone else they know by either doing something, saying something rude to it, having it generate something bad that could harm someone else.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's like, again, like restrictions, but like I feel like there's a lot of ways to like get around it or stuff, but I know as long as you like use it for like wholesome stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I think it helps me so much with just like, instead of having to go into Google and like searching up and going to the website, it just kind of puts it there,
Interesting. Thank you, students. Do you think, what's your point of view on this? Do you think that schools should allow students to use AI in school?
I mean, I think if it's like a teaching aspect, it definitely should. But as long as it's like restricted, because if it's like too much, you can, just cheat with it.
I was actually talking about this with my mom in the car. We were saying like we should use it in moderation because obviously we don't want to rely too heavily on it because, well, that's just not good. But like I feel like definitely it's a great tool and it's something we've never seen before, and we should definitely like take advantage of it, but not like too much, so much so that we're using it more than we're learning it or doing it ourselves.
I would say that I definitely agree, and I think AI should be used in school in order to sort of like work with you rather than you doing it for you, and figuring out how to properly like explain, and then you can like work on understanding the material yourself and use it as like sort of like a study guide rather than a study cheat.
I think that if teachers taught kids how to correctly use AI and how it can like benefit them on how they can learn better, or if they don't understand something, they can use it in like a good way, I think that would overall like show kids, okay, I can use AI to help me like learn versus help me cheat on my homework or cheat on a test.
It's a very good point, Reese. What are your thoughts about the current skills of your teachers in using AI?
I mean,
'Cause-
since it's like kind of new, or not new, but like it's still like, it just, yeah, not super discovered, I guess, you know. I don't feel like they use it as much as they would in the future, because it's obviously like basically like a perfect teacher if you want it to be, or like it perfectly helps them with stuff they need to do. So, I mean, I definitely feel like they're gonna be using them a lot.
Okay. Any other perspectives?
What was the question?
Sir, give us an assessment of your teacher skills with using AI.
I mean, it's kind of talked about this before, but like they don't like, I mean, I don't know how much they know how to use it, but I feel like they don't really talk about it in class. And I was looking at this website, the AI Innovation Index or something like that, and it was talking about how we can like incorporate AI and kind of talk how like the admin can talk about it with teachers, create like a task force and kind of set guidelines on how to use it. I feel like a lot of schools are behind on that, and it's okay because we're all like doing this together, and it's just something that we have to. There's obviously going to be some obstacles, but AI is like new, just as Joe said. So it's going to take some time, but I feel like with the right like guidelines and stuff, AI can be incorporated really well into schools.
I think that some teachers, I think they don't like fully understand AI and what it can do. So I feel like they kind of assume, oh, it's kind of bad and it can help kids like cheat and not fully learn. But I think as of like my experience, teachers don't fully know like enough about AI to go around telling kids that it could actually be helpful.
Very good point. Go ahead, Ada.
I would say that some teachers are very open to using AI and are very open to like using it as a study guide tool, but that there are also a lot of teachers who are very paranoid about students cheating and like have very low confidence in students who can use it as a actual tool rather than just as a way to cheat and as a way to not study and not work.
Good perspective, students. A little bit of context from, again, the Speak Up Research Project. 77% of middle school and high school students say that AI should be used in schools, that they should have the opportunity to do that. When we ask that same question of classroom teachers and building leaders, it's still a little mixed. And it's definitely related to the teacher's own comfort and proficiency with the tool, whether or not they want to have it incorporated into their class. And the students replicated that. Okay, students, you're doing great. What do you think, if you can think about like an example, share with us an example, and you already did a little bit, I want a little bit more, an example of where you were able to advance your learning on something because you used AI. Do you have an example of where your learning was enhanced or accelerated or amplified because of your use of some AI tool?
I can go first. I talked about this a little bit earlier. I kind of ask it for that deep dive, and that's like a keyword, and then it gives me a whole thing, a whole like blob of text. But like if you read it, it definitely like helps. It kind of summarizes what I've learned, especially for my human geography class, since those are based on AP board standards. So it's a great way to kind of like just help me learn, enhance my learning. If I didn't get to ask my teacher some of those questions, or if I missed that part in class or something like that, it's a great way to get deep dives or just more information about a topic.
Yeah, I think because like since I do have a good teacher for physics, that class seems to be a lot easier. But like I feel like in my math, the teacher, he's like nice and everything, but he's not. I wouldn't say and I'm not saying he's a bad teacher, but he doesn't explain things as well as my physics teacher does. So when I get home, and I'm doing homework, and I like it was a question, I just like how do I do this, or like can you like show me the way and something. Yeah.
Thank you, Joe.
I would say for me that AI has strongly helped me sort of break down like principles, or like for math when I'm trying to like figure out like, okay, how do I use this? Like, why is this step important? Like finding an extraneous solution. Like, okay, yes, I need to do that, but why do I need to find the solution? It sort of like breaks down. It's like, okay, you need to find it because there are two possible solutions, and that could lead to two different answers. Or like when you plug that back in, it won't lead to the same result. So I think it helps me understand like the why behind what I'm doing.
Okay, that's great.
For me, I've used it in reading, and when I have like a unit test on like a whole book that I've read, I've asked it to create like a quiz for me before I take a test to be like, okay, this is how much I know or how much I need to know. So it helps me like understand my level that I'm at before I take a test.
That's really interesting, Reese. We've heard similar things to what the students are sharing from students all across the country. It's really interesting. Now, you brought up one of the concerns that you all had was about the accuracy of some of the information. So how are you discerning that the information that you're getting from AI, like Ahan, you said will look for something to give you a deep dive. How are you discerning that that's accurate?
Well, I mean, the simplest way to say that is just like if I remember learning about something similar to that, like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that a little bit. But you can always like try and go back. I mean, that's a good point. I feel like, well, for math it's pretty simple. I mean, you just go back and check the formula you learned. But for some of the subjects, it's kind of hard to like, especially for books, since like GPT or ChatGPT is not that good at like finding quotes and stuff because it treats them as like individual tokens, not as like pages. So it's kind of hard to like fact check that information, especially if it's like a 300-page book. So I guess you just kind of like, that's why I was talking about like using it in moderation. Don't use it for like everything.
Personally, I check the accuracy of AI tools where it's like if it's explaining a math principle or a science principle, I'll have like articles from like school provided articles on the topic and cross-reference it. I'm like, okay, is this information track? If I look at the information here, is this similar information here but phrased more simply?
For me, I see it in like my math homework. So my teacher usually like assigns us like math homework in a textbook. And so if there's a question that like I don't really understand, there's answers in the back of the book, but it doesn't explain how to do it. So I've looked at the answers in the back of the book, but then I would put the same question into like ChatGPT, and it would both get different answers. And so it would really confuse me because ChatGPT would show me how to answer the question, but it would lead to a different answer than what's in the assigned textbook my teacher would give me.
So how have you reconciled that, Reese?
I would just try my best to figure out how to do it and get the same answer as my textbook, because I know that if it's a textbook that my teacher gave me, I know that answer would be probably correct versus ChatGPT.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for like, and I've noticed the accuracy for like math formulas and like stuff like that, it's easier to like kind of look at, oh, is that right? Or I can tell if that's a bit right. But if it's like, I don't know why, but like books or reading and stuff, when I asked it for like a page or something or like a quote, it just had no idea. Like it was totally off because like I checked the page number after, it was all off, everything was bad. So I don't really know how to fact check it. And it like, I mean personally, I don't, like I know it says the sources, but it's, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of, yeah, I'm not really sure.
This is a real struggle, right?
Yeah.
It's a real struggle. All right, students, so I mentioned at the top that 4 years from now, you're going to be graduating from high school. What do you think about where AI is going? What do you think it's going to be like 4 years from now?
Well, I think from 4 years from now, it will only continue advancing as we see so many people and continually investing in its growth. Even in the last 5 years, we've seen this development. So I think it'll definitely continue to improve. I would assume the information would get more accurate, and we've already seen developments of other AI tools that are moderated by teachers. Like at least in my school, Conmingo it can be checked by your teachers to see what you're asking and how you are using that AI properly.
It's funny because if you asked me this question at the start of middle school, I'd be so off because just in like 2 years, it's crazy how much AI has evolved and like been incorporated into education. So like double that, now it's 4 years. I'm like, I don't know. But I feel like it's definitely going to be, it's just going to keep getting incorporated in schools, keep advancing. And honestly, the sky's the limit. I'm going to be honest. No way of really like telling, like this is what's going to be. We have no idea.
I agree. I think that it will only keep advancing from like what it is right now, but my hope would be that teachers would be able to find a way to like in 4 years show incoming freshmen how to use AI to help them understand like everything they know in class, because there's like every student is different, and so some people may not have enough money for a tutor or don't understand the language or other different stuff. So my hope would be like in 4 years, teachers would be able to give kids better like learning and better understanding of something using AI.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna get more common to use it, or more of it's gonna get implemented in school.
Okay, great. All right, folks, I've got a final question for you, and then we'll sum up a little bit. Thank you, audience, again for being here. So as you're thinking about finishing your freshman year, continuing high school, what would you like your schools to do to help prepare you for this uncertain future?
This is no ad, but I'm gonna go back to the AI Innovation Index. I feel like I'm definitely gonna bring that up to my principal and kind of show him like, oh yeah, this is how we can, get our teachers more like familiarized with AI. And I feel like if we do that, then we can incorporate AI safely and ethically, and it's just gonna be a great tool. And I can't wait to see what it does.
I would say for my school, it's sort of just like implementing tools to figure out how, like implementing like instruction on like this is an example of using AI ethically, this is an example of not using AI ethically, to sort of like help students understand the line instead of just sort of saying, oh, there is a line, without really giving students a concrete example of what that line is.
Sorry, can you say the question one more time?
What would you like your schools to do or your teachers to do to make sure that you're prepared for the future in this uncertain time?
I think I wish that my school offered more like classes that involved like, oh, this is how to do your taxes, this is how you can learn how to drive, or this is how to like do anything that could help you for the future. I feel like that would be more helpful towards kids so that they understand like when they go off to college and they become like independent, they understand what to do instead of being like, oh, I only know how to play esports or something.
Nothing wrong with esports, though. Nothing wrong with that.
I think that's really good because that makes a lot of sense as well. But yeah, just kind of introducing it in the right way and not really hinting towards cheating, but hinting towards learning.
Right.
But yeah.
Fabulous. Well, obviously, this is why this is an expert panel. Students, thank you so very much for joining us today and for sharing your authentic views. I had told the students this before we started. I have wanted to do a student panel here at this conference for many, many years. And so I'm just so absolutely thrilled to have this opportunity. Thank you again, folks, for being here. If you want to learn more about our work, our URL is tomorrow.org. More of our research findings that I shared are there. Thank you so much for joining us.